Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 11. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Sri Karasata Shri Sri Madhesi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Kamsa Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the Assembly of the Devotees. All glories to the Assembly of the Devotees. All glories to the Assembly of the Devotees. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 11. Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. Balam strength, balavatam of the strong, cha and aham I am, kama passion, raga attachment, vivarjitam devoid of, dharma aviruddha not against religious principles, bhuteshu in all beings, kamaha, sex life, asmi, I am, Bharatar Shavaha, O Lord of the Bharatas. Translation and purpose by Srila Prabhupada. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex, life, which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharatas, Arjuna. Purport. The strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. Similarly, sex life, according to religious principles, dharma, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents, then, is to make their offspring Krishna conscious. Balam balavatam chaham, kamaraga vivarjitam, dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. This is an important, greetings from Vrindavan. I hope the link works. I hope you can hear me and see me. And if so, then we will continue every Wednesday and Friday. I've been away for the last 2 weeks, now I'm back. And let's hope it works. So this verse, 711 in the Bhagavad Gita, is very important for one line. Dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi. Dharma viruddha means something which is against religious principles. So, dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi. Kamo, or lust, sex life. It is non-different to Krishna if it is practiced for the purpose for which Krishna has created it. There is no question lust exists. There is no question sex desire exists. It exists on the material platform because it is originally existing in the spiritual platform. Lust means to hanker for somebody else's association, to hanker, to be with someone, to have that one as the only goal of life. Well, that's Krishna. Krishna has created all of us, and because of his creation, we are part and parcel of him, just like my hand is part and parcel of my body, and my hand is happy and content when it simply serves the body. So when we serve Krishna, that intense feeling of possession for Krishna, that intense desire to have Krishna, to exclude everything except Krishna, that is the highest hankering, or the highest lust. There is two kinds of lust. The spiritual lust is like gold, and the material lust is like iron. Anything on the spiritual platform is perfect. When that same thing is reflected on the material platform, it becomes contaminated. What does it mean to be reflected on the material platform? It means to leave Krishna out of the situation. And what does it mean to leave Krishna out of the situation? It means illusion, because Krishna is in every situation. He is everywhere, omnipresent and omniscient. He knows everything we do. He's sitting within our heart. In fact, we cannot even remember, forget, or know anything unless Krishna prompts us. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto. Krishna says, I'm in the heart of everyone. And this was Prabhupada's premise. He understood that Krishna is in everyone's heart, not just in the Hindu's heart, not just in the heart of the Indians or the devotees, but in the heart of Americans, Europeans, Africans, in the heart of every living entity. Based on this premise, Prabhupada left India on his own with no money, no friends, no support practically, and he came to America believing that Krishna was in the heart of everyone there. And simply by his intimate connection with Krishna, he was able to awaken that same connection in the heart of his disciples. Just like I always say, you cannot get something from someone that doesn't have it. You cannot get Krishna unless you meet someone who possesses Krishna. The purpose of reading Bhagavad Gita, the purpose of going to temple, the purpose of meditation or prayer is to induce Krishna, is to show to Krishna that we are sincere, and then Krishna will send someone who is able to give us Krishna. This is how it works. By reading Bhagavad Gita, by hearing and chanting, then gradually Krishna will send someone, because Krishna is in the heart. Krishna is the Chaitya Guru, the Guru within the heart. In fact, there is nothing except Krishna and Krishna's devotees. There is a nice example in the life of Lord Chaitanya. Lochan Das Thakur, who was very famous as a poet, wrote many beautiful songs, beautiful bhajans. He wrote a book called the Chaitanya Mangala, and in this book he explains Lord Chaitanya's acceptance of sannyas. Lord Chaitanya was a householder. He was married to Vishnu Priya. Actually, Lord Chaitanya had two wives. His first wife, Lakshmi Priya, she passed away, and then his mother insisted and he remarried to Vishnu Priya. But then at the age of 24, he wanted to retire from family life and take sannyas for preaching purposes. And although he didn't expressly say it, the mood was there, and both his mother and his wife, his mother Sachi Devi and his wife Vishnu Priya, they understood that Lord Chaitanya is about to take sannyas. And especially Vishnu Priya, she became very, very upset. And she prayed to the Lord with tears in her eyes that I am your wife. If you leave me, what will happen to me? Your mother is old, there is no one to protect us. You are our life and soul, and you are abandoning us. What is this? Is this religious? What good will that do? But Lord Chaitanya explained, he gave a very nice summary of what is God consciousness, or what is reality. And he said, my dear Vishnu Priya, there is only one reality in the universe, and that is Vishnu, Krishna, and the Vaishnavas. Apart from that, there is nothing else. Krishna is the creator, and he created all the living entities to serve him and the devotees. There is nothing else. He said, everything else is simply illusion. Krishna is our husband, everybody is actually his wife. Sometimes mundane religionists, especially the Muslims and the Christians who came to India and were exposed to Vaishnava philosophy, to Vaishnava practice, they immediately criticized, oh, who is this Krishna? He's a womanizer, he took the clothes of the gopis to see them naked, he danced in the forest with other people's wives in the middle of night. But actually, Krishna is the only husband. In fact, for a woman to be chaste to a material husband and not be chaste to Krishna is actually unchaste. And to be chaste to Krishna at the expense of the husband, that is the sign that you have love for Krishna. And as far as Krishna taking the garments of the gopis, he is already in their heart. He knows every inch of their body and their soul. There is nothing hidden from him. So what is the harm if he comes outside and he sees the gopis from the outside rather than from the inside? Because he's the creator, and the gopis, they wanted to be seen by Krishna as their wives. They wanted to become Krishna's wives. Therefore, by presenting themselves naked before Krishna, Krishna became their husband. Because no woman will be naked unless she's in front. No chaste woman will be naked except in front of her husband. So in this way, all the sentiments in the material world, it is like the reflection of the banyan tree. Urdhva Moolam. This tree has the roots going up, Adaha Shakam. It has the branches going down. Ashwatam Praudur Avyayam. It is Nashwata, a very huge banyan tree. Banyan trees can expand, from their branches, roots come down and they expand. So this tree of the material world is Avyayam, it has no beginning and no end. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sings, Anadir Karama Fale, Pori Baba Namrita Jale, Pari Barena Deki Upai. Anadi Karama Fale, from the results of my material activities, going back before the creation. So the material world is created and destroyed again and again and again, without beginning, without end. So Krishna is saying that the material world is a reflection. Yastam Vedata Vedavid. One who understands that the material world is a parallel reflection of the spiritual world, then he is in knowledge. And everything in the material world, it is a upside down relationship from that in the spiritual world. In the material world, to go to the forest for a young woman to dance, somebody's wife to go and dance with some other man, or to be naked in front of a man, that is extremely unchaste. But in the relationship with Krishna, it is perfectly chaste. Why is that? Because Krishna has created us to connect with him. We are actually all female. We are Prakriti. There is only one Purusha. Mahaprabhu told Vishnu Priya. There is only one enjoyer, one Purusha, that is Krishna. Everything else is energy. Energy means that serve the energetic. Purusha means energetic, and Prakriti means energy. We are created to serve Krishna. That's our only business. There is nothing else to do. Everything you see in the material world, it is temporary, it is illusion, it is full of misery, dukkhalayam, and it is temporary, ashashvatam. Why is it that this creation has taken place? That we are controlled and conditioned by so many laws of material nature. It is to teach us that there is only one reality, and that reality is Krishna. Why do we need to be taught this reality? We need to be taught this reality that there is nothing but Krishna, and I have nothing except Krishna, and Krishna is the only goal of life, there is nothing else, nothing belongs to me, nothing is connected with me, nothing is worth having, nothing is worth pursuing except Krishna. Why do we need to be taught that? Because we have independence. We get taught that by Krishna, so we can exercise our free independence to love Krishna. If Krishna simply uses his power and controls us by his force to love him, that's not love. If I point a gun at your head and said, love me or I'll kill you, you may pretend to love me to save your skin. But actual love means that definition of love is that in a relationship, where every circumstance in this relationship exists to break the relationship, but despite all these contrary circumstances, if the relationship continues, that is love. In other words, we have to make the choice. And Krishna allows us to exercise our independence, but in reality, that independence should be used to love him. And why do we misuse our independence? We misuse our independence because we are part and parcel of Krishna. We have tremendous power. We have power to be stubborn. We have power to refuse to treat with Krishna. We have the power to live billions and billions of birth after birth after birth without turning our face to Krishna. That power we have. Because the other side of that power, or the connection with Krishna, where one doesn't forget Krishna, no matter how many births it takes in the material world, where everybody looks, he sees Krishna, where there is nothing in his life, that is just as powerful. It is so powerful that that there is nothing beyond it, there is nothing outside it. And in the 16th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says that there are three vidam narakashyedam. There are three types of dwaram, of gates to hell. Nashanam atmanaha. Krishna defines hell as nashanam atmanaha. When the atma, or the spirit soul, becomes destroyed. How does the soul become destroyed? By identifying with the body. By thinking, aham mameti, I am this body, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a dog, I am a cat, I am American, I have my wife, I have my family, I have my business. All these things are Nashanam Atmanaha, destroying the soul, because we are none of these things. We are spirit soul. We are nothing else. There is nothing else except our connection with Krishna as a spirit soul. And what are these three gates to hell? Kama, Krodha, Satha, Lobha. Kama, lust, anger, Krodha, and greed. So, Tasmad etam trayam tyajet, he says to Arjuna. Give up these three things. Arjuna didn't want to fight because of attachment. He didn't want to fight because of anger. He didn't want to fight because of illusion, because he was in the bodily conception. Therefore, I emphasize again and again and again that the key to understand both matter and spirit, the key to understand what is the business of the material world, what is the purpose of the material world, is to understand that we are not the body. And the only way you can understand that you are not the body is to control it, is to control your senses. Just like if you're driving in a motor car, the purpose of the motor car is to take you from point A to point B. And as long as you're in control, you can utilize the vehicle to get you to your destination. But if you don't control the motor car and the motor car controls you, then you've got nowhere, you crash. So what is our crash? Our crash is the illusion of this body. What is the problem with the illusion of the body? The problem with the illusion of the body is that when we come to the point of death, thinking we are the body and nurturing attachment to the body and the things connected to the body, like the wife, the husband, the family, the land, the wealth, then we take another birth, because that's what we want. We want to continue this illusion. So Krishna says, give it up. Kama, Krodha, Tatha, Lobhas. Give up your lust. How do you give up your lust? How is it possible? It is so powerful. That is the story of Emperor Akbar. He had a Brahmana advisor, Hindu, who was very, very wise. So one day he asked him, my dear minister, my dear advisor, when will I be free from lust? Akbar was already quite old. When will I be free from lust? And the minister said, never. You'll never be free. And Emperor Akbar said, how can you say that? Surely when I get old and infirm I will be free. No, you will not. So then the argument ended there. Sometimes later, one of Akbar's ministers was a very old man. He was on his deathbed. So Akbar came and took his advisor and said, let us go and see the minister who's dying. So the advisor said, my dear Emperor, please do me a favor. When we go to see this man who's dying, bring your young daughter with you. And when you walk into the room, look in the man's eyes. So they came to the house of the dying man, they came to his room, to the deathbed, and as they walked in, Akbar noticed that the sick man, who was practically unconscious, as soon as he saw the beautiful young princess, he drew a breath and his eyes opened. And Akbar realized, says, yes, my friend, you are right. You will never be free from lust. So how to be free from lust? Two things: lust, sex, and eating. Those are very, very important things nobody can do without. But here Krishna says, Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu, what kamasmi. He said, I am lust, who is free from material contamination, who is based upon dharma. In other words, if you perform the sex act for the pleasure of Krishna, how do you do that? By using the sex act for what it was properly and perfectly designed for, that is to produce children. So I will use my sexual power to produce children, and I will train those children in devotional service, because if you trained in devotional service from childhood, from youth, you will get a basis to understand Krishna later in life. Therefore Prahlad Maharaj, he said to his father, Komara acharet pragyo dharmam bhagavatam, that this dharma, this connection with God, should be taught from the Komara, from the youngest age. Why? Durlabha manusya jamma, because it's difficult to get a human birth. Tadapi adhvam artavam. Not only that, with the human life, it is temporary and it is meant to give you spiritual knowledge. So if you pray to Krishna that I will engage in sex, I have a sex desire, let me properly get married, I will produce children, I will train them in childhood, in spiritual life, that is my service to you. If you do that and train your child spiritually in devotional service, Krishna will take over when the child grows up. You don't get born in a Vaishnava family by chance. So, this is Dharma Viruddha Bhuteshu, engage in sex life for the pleasure of Krishna. Before you eat, offer your food to Krishna. Hear about Krishna, chant about Krishna. How do we hear about Krishna? By reading Prabhupada's books. Before Prabhupada came to the West, there was no knowledge of Krishna. There was some editions of the Bhagavad Gita, but impersonalist. They didn't put Krishna as the focus. They didn't pay attention to Krishna as the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita. They didn't give him the attention and the credit that he deserves. It was simply used as a mental exercise by philosophers. That was the Bhagavad Gita. But Prabhupada presented it as it is. Bhagavad Gita yatha anurup, as they say in India, as it is, the real form of the Gita, which is to surrender to Krishna, which is to understand that without Krishna there is nothing. There is me and there is Krishna. Everything else is simply illusion. We simply remain in this body. The body takes us from one life to another, life after life. What is the point? What is the point of perfecting materially this life and then starting again in another life? And what about the life I had before? I may say, well, this is my family, this is my wife, this is my children, these are my children, this is my house. Yeah, in this life. What about your previous life? And what about your next life? It is a futile attempt. You cannot become peaceful. You cannot become perfect. You cannot achieve perfection unless you give it all up, unless you control your senses, understand your spirit soul, and engage in the service of Krishna. What does it mean to engage in the service of Krishna? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Parasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedana. Hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayer, serving the lotus feet, becoming Krishna's friend, surrendering to Krishna, offering puja to Krishna. These are the Nana Vida, the 9 processes of bhakti. Any one or any number of them can give you perfection. Thank you very much. If there's any question, please leave a comment, and then it seems that the connection is working, which is very good news. Therefore, we will talk again next Friday. And we have some comment. Mandi Priya from Cambridge, England. Happy to see you all. Thank you, Mataji. I am perfectly good. Vishnivamsa, Hari Bol Ananda Swarup. Nice lecture from Vrindavan. Well, Vrindavan. And thank you very much for another good class from Mandy. Thank you very much. And Vishnu concludes by, therefore surrender to Krishna and get out of samsara as soon as possible. Exactly. As Rupa Goswami says, this wealth of pure bhakti, of love of God, is so valuable that if you see it anywhere, pay any price. And we're so fortunate that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada, they don't even ask for a price. They are simply giving it out. We simply have to hear. Read Prabhupada's books. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Brief report, I was traveling for almost a week. We went to Karoli to see Sanatana Goswami's Radha Madan Mohan, and to Jaipur to see Radha Govinda and Radha Gopinath. Came back here, broke my fast, I'm eating fruit and green papaya, I'm feeling good. Every morning I'm going to the temple for Mangal Arati. So bless me that I may continue my spiritual endeavors, and we'll see you on Friday. Hare Krishna.